and the lone striker, Joel Piroud. The flamethrowers are on. The teams are on the pitch. The heat very much on both of these teams, especially Leeds United, because Sheffield United, with that win against Cardiff earlier today, moved to within 2 points of them. So Burnley top on 91, Leeds second on 88, Sheffield United in a playoff spot at the moment on 86. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me. It does really feel as though the pressure is enormous on Leeds United tonight. Yeah, it does, but pressure is a privilege, and it's one of those cliche sayings, but it is to have that pressure when you're fighting to get automatic promotion, to be promoted as champions. These are the things you have to deal with in the big moments. And look, there's players with a lot of experience in there, and it was interesting having this chat with Mark Wilson last week about that experience last season of losing in the playoffs. It works two ways. You either think, here we go again, and when they're on that poor run of form, are we going to fall out and have to go through the playoffs again? Or does that fuel you? Does that give you the fire and the experience to go one better? And for me, after that win against Preston last week, it felt like they were going to go one better. They were certainly going to get automatic promotion and potentially go and win it for me. I think these are the winners of the championship in my eyes. Well, if Leeds United do win tonight at the Kassam, they will go above Burnley on goal difference. Both of those clubs will have 91 points with 3 match days remaining, and they would be 5 points ahead of Sheffield United. That win for Sheffield United against Cardiff, one of 4 championship commentaries that will have brought you across the Talksport network today. This is the 4th of them. And Oxford United, we talked a lot about Leeds, but Oxford have done a marvellous job this term. Just the fact that they could go 8 clear of the bottom 3 with a win tells you how well they've done. That win at Sheffield Wednesday last weekend, that 1-0 victory, putting them in a good position. Yeah, it is, and they've still got a lot to play for, though. They're not mathematically safe. I don't think there's any danger of them being on the beach, that old saying. There's still a lot to play for. And knowing Gary Rowett, and not in a football capacity in terms of a coach, but working with him in the media, there's no way he's going to let these players off the hook, and that's it. It's safe. So, yeah, there's still a lot to play for, and he'll be looking forward to next season as well, and looking for those little bits where he wants to progress next season. Oxford in their traditional yellow shirts, dark shorts, playing from right to left. Leeds in their chain strip of dark blue get us underway at the Kassam, attacking the goal away to our right. So Leeds under pressure. Burnley victorious at Watford earlier today. Also a win for Sheffield United against Cardiff. So that means 2 of the top 3 have already won today. Can Leeds complete the picture and make it 3 out of 3? Oxford in possession just outside their own penalty area. They pump it long down the right-hand side, looking for Przemysław Płacheta, and it's nodded behind by Leeds for a corner kick, the first corner in the first minute. It's showing good intent, isn't it? And Płacheta doesn't hesitate. He's looking in behind. There's no hesitation when that ball goes. He puts the burners on. He's obviously got a lot of pace. He doesn't get to it, but it's a big corner early on for Oxford. It'll be Tyler Goodrum, the 21-year-olds, who will take it. It'll be an outswinger, right-footed. They've got big targets to aim for towards the near post, and it was flicked on by Sam Long. And the flag is up now. Leeds United under pressure there, and Oxford from set plays, from long throws, from corners can be a real threat. And it was Mark Harris, I think, in the middle there, and I think he almost sort of jumps out of the way because I think he knows he's in an offside position, but affects the play. Maybe there is a touch on the ball on the way through, but you're right, in terms of those set pieces, we know that Oxford are very dangerous. Sam Long, who won that header, he got a 79th minute winner as Oxford won 1-0 at Sheffield Wednesday last time out. A win tonight takes them 8 points clear of the drop zone with 3 match days remaining, and they would be pretty much safe. There's an argument to say they're safe already. Foul by Oxford on halfway. It's going to be a Leeds United free kick in the centre circle. It was Gruev, former Werder Bremen player, who went down. Not a regular scorer by any stretch, Ilya Gruev, but he's the glue that holds that midfield together alongside Tanaka.
Yeah, he is. And you always need a player like that in your team that's not necessarily spectacular, but as you say, holds it all together, is the metronome, keeps it all ticking, and he certainly does that in that Leeds midfield at the base of it. Now
Leeds United have won a corner. It was Jayden Bogle's cross that was blocked, and that's going to be a corner on the near side, the Leeds right, as we look at it. 3rd minute here on Talksport. Live Championship commentary. Leeds United away at Oxford United. Very different agendas. Oxford looking to stay up, Leeds looking to go up. And a corner from the right-hand side, and it's loosed and hacked away as far as the edge of the penalty area. And Leeds will recycle it, work it to Jayden Bogle on halfway.
Didn't miss Ampadu by much. He was flying across the box. He'd leapt, but probably just half a yard over his head.
Worked out to the left-hand side. Leeds with plenty forward from the original set piece. It was Junior Firpo who made the underlapping run from left back, but he's been dispossessed, and now Oxford will bang it up towards halfway. It's over the head of Mark Harris. He can't quite collect it. Mark Harris brought into the starting lineup tonight for Oxford. He scored in his first 4 championship appearances this season, but he's only got 2 goals since. Here's Tanaka down the left for Leeds, but that was comfortably away by Sam Long. Out for a throw on the far side. 4th minute, 0-0.
And you can see how Leeds set up, and because they love to get their fullbacks going forward, Bogle and Firpo, you mentioned about Gruev and Tanaka, and the way that they just almost sit in front of the 2 centre-halves in Rondon and Ampadu and just play that box in the middle. That's the security, and that's what allows the fullbacks to go high and do it at the same time. Normally one fullback goes, the other one comes across to give the security, but Leeds do it a little bit differently.
EFL Game Day Live, 4th championship commentary across the Talksport network today on this Good Friday. Had thrills and spills already. And a throw to Leeds, level with the edge of the penalty area on the far side, the left. They've got plenty of possession so far. We expected that, but no scares for Oxford just yet. And Oxford trying to press, trying to make it difficult for Leeds to play through them. Joe Rodon so comfortable in possession. Back to his goalkeeper Carl Darlow. That was a big call from Daniel Farker a few weeks ago to put Darlow in for Ilan Meslier. Meslier had been backed for so long despite a few high profile errors.
Yeah, he hasn't. You think about Meslier as a young goalkeeper, and relative to goalkeepers he is, but he's 26 now, so he's at the point where, you know, them inconsistencies, you've got to almost pay for that in a way. So the fact that he's been stuck with for so long, but say the manager makes the decision, and I think it's been the right one. Darlow's looked a lot more stable at the back for me.
Yeah, Daniel Farkas talked about that. He said he likes Darlow's body language, very solid, calms everybody down, and that's what you need as a goalkeeper. Here's Bogle, scored the winning goal against Preston last time out, 2-1 win, his 6th championship goal of the season. Now a bit of room to manoeuvre on the right-hand side as it's worked infield towards Bogle. It was Aronson who found him. Leeds United with plenty of the ball, but not finding a way through Oxford at the moment, who've made a very determined start without the ball. They had a big win here not that long ago against Sheffield United. That was a really eye-catching victory, and it shows what they could do against the top teams.
Yeah, and sometimes in a way against those top teams, yes, they've got the quality, but actually they're expansive, they get forward. So especially if you're a counter-attacking team and you're clinical, you can find those gaps, and that's when Oxford are at their best, when they do that, when they're clinical and they exploit those opportunities. They can see they do it. It's just about the consistency, and then coming up against teams that maybe sit in a block, that's where they've struggled a little bit.
And also on the turn, sweeping the ball out to the right-hand side, the near side as we look at it for Jayden Bogle, and now they've lost it to Alex Matos, who's making tracks down the left-hand side for Oxford. He works it out to Goodrum on this near side, the left. He plays it back to the edge of the area. Brannigan shapes to shoot, saved by Darlow. Really important two-handed save by Darlow, because not only did he parry it, he parried it away from Poaheta, and that's the first big save he's had to make so far. And now Leeds with a bit of room to manoeuvre at the other end. Solomon trying to thread that through for Aronson. Really important challenge on the edge of the penalty area by Helic for Oxford, and it's really warming up now. Out towards Matos on the left, Joe Rodon across. The Welsh international, he got there ahead of Matos and is able to clear up this right-hand side to Bogle. It is Oxford 0, Leeds 0, live on Talksport.
Best chance of the game so far, though, and there's two moments in that. You're right, Darlow, the save is fantastic because he doesn't parry it back into bodies. And Poeta, he's ready for the tap-in, but Firpo as well. He gets a little touch on Poeta, just does enough. It's not a foul, but he gets that body contact in there just to make sure he's off balance. So just gives half a second for him to then get round Poeta and take the ball away. It was really good defending and goalkeeping.
First chance here for Will Volks to wind up the long throw. This is a big weapon in the Oxford Armoury. They use it a lot, and he will send this in. Hurled towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Darlow came through traffic and punched it away. Back in by Goodrum, but it should be cleared by Nonso, and is. Actually came off Goodrum and looped up in the air. It's headed back towards the Leeds right back zone, and they can let that one run. 8 minutes gone, and it is Oxford 0, Leeds 0.
And you know what, fair credit to Oxford, and talk about areas to exploit in Leeds getting forward, and that's where that initial promising attack really comes from. And Bogle down that right hand side, his engine, by the way, is absolutely incredible, the way he gets up and down, but in that moment he gets caught, and that's why Oxford can get down their left hand side and exploit the spaces that Leeds have left.
Mentioned that winner for Bogle against Preston, the 6th championship goal he scored. He's the first Leeds right back to score 6 league goals in one season since Mel Sterling did it back in the 1991-92 campaign. If he scores another, it'll be the best tally for a Leeds right back in the league since 1980. And there are goals all over this Leeds team.
And I think that's a positive thing, isn't it? Always is. If you're not just relying on your centre forward, you can get goals from all over the pitch, then it almost takes the pressure off the centre forward. And inversely, I think they always then score more goals because there's not that pressure to think, right, this is the only chance I'm going to get. Nobody else is going to score, so I've got to score this. It gives you a bit of an air of comfort.
Leeds have by far the best attacking record in the Championship. 82 goals scored in 42 games so far. Their expected goals figure also by far the highest in the league. Here's Nonso flicking it on to Bogle, inside right channel, floats the ball into the penalty area. It was really well hooked away by the Oxford rearguard. Here's Tanaka picking up the pieces in midfield. Now Gruev, low ball to the edge of the penalty area. Junior Firpo trying to advance down the inside left channel, couldn't do so though because Long came across to slam the door in his face, and again Oxford have dealt with that really well.
Yeah, they haven't. It's down that Leeds left hand side, and Solomon's not really been in the game at all, and I think he's a player that's electric. He really can light a game up. The way that he runs at players, it's almost a little bit old school. I think sometimes now players are so coached into having to do certain things, whereas you can see he plays with a freedom where he wants to take players on, but they've not got him in the game just as yet, Leeds.
Solomon, who's been one of the most effective players for Leeds, here he is down that left hand side, but he's tracked by Volks. He checks back out onto his right foot, but again Oxford keeping their shape and making it tough for Leeds United. Leeds 3 points behind the leaders Burnley, who won earlier today at Watford. They're only 2 points ahead of third placed Sheffield United, who beat Cardiff. That was a game we brought you live on the Talksport network earlier today, the home of the EFL. Ball swept now back into the Leeds half for Ampadu in the centre circle, goes across to his Welsh compatriot Joe Rodon. Good partnership they've been at the heart of that Leeds team. And now Tanaka, and again Daniel Farke's team happy to keep possession, try and draw Oxford out if they can. And now it's forward to Nonso, inside right channel. Dan James back on the bench for Leeds today, having recovered from injury, but has not started. Daniel Farke was being non-committal ahead of the game, saying that he definitely thought Dan James would be involved on Easter Monday against Stoke, but wasn't committing to him being involved tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing, when you've got games in such short succession, you've also got a winning team, so it's very rare that you change a winning team in that sense. And probably looking forward, you know, it's, as I say, it's not played on paper, but looking at Bristol City, that's the toughest game out of the 4 left, isn't it?
Here's Matos on the charge. After Leeds has given away possession, he's made a good start for Oxford. Alex Matos has been charging forward from that number 10 position, but Leeds have picked Oxford's pocket and they play it down the right-hand side for Piru now, who spins in field, plays a little ball into Aronson's path, who's scampering around the American. Little 1-2 with Nonto. Aronson trying to get through the first challenge, and again Oxford United finding a way to clear. And now Leeds have won it back with Tanaka. He's wrestling there with Mark Harris around about the halfway line, but Leeds have come out on top in that battle. 13th minute, live championship commentary. Oxford 0, Leeds 0. Leeds looking to win and take another big step towards a return to the Premier League. If they win tonight, they will go top of the championship table, above Burnley on goal difference. Here's Bogle, who's won it back. Oxford wanted a free kick on this near side. They're not going to get one. Here's Nonto. He's away from the challenge of Bennett into the penalty area, and he trod on the ball. And that took all of the momentum out of the attack there, Nonto. Now waiting for Bogle on the overlap. He cuts it back, and Oxford again able to get a foot in. Harris with his back to goal trying to hold the play up, but his ball to Poeta is still in the Oxford half. Leeds trying to press now, but that's a nice turn by Brannigan, who's an experienced player. Cameron Brannigan, his 322nd Oxford appearance tonight. Oxford very calm under pressure so far tonight, 0-0.
They've been really compact in their defensive shape as well, and that's why Leeds United have found it so hard to break them down. But for me, there are spaces for Leeds, especially in wide areas, because they're very narrow, very compact. But Leeds are playing into Oxford's hands at the minute because they're not moving the ball quick enough. That switch of play is too slow. They need to be a bit more aggressive with the movement and the tempo of the passing.
Here's Tanaka, former Fortuna Düsseldorf player. It's been a big hit since arriving at Ellen Road. Now Solomon into the feet of Aronson, 30 yards from goal, inside left channel. He works it back to Rodon, and now Tanaka. And again, just as Courtney Sweetman-Kirk was saying, it's all a bit laborious from Leeds United, not really moving the pieces around, and Oxford in their shape. Here is Manor Solomon on the left-hand side. 8 goals and 9 assists in the Championship this season. And he's got a bit of space down by the byline on the left-hand side. Curling cross, but it's overhit, and that's going to go all the way out for an Oxford goal kick.
I think it's Goodrum there that does really well. Make sure he tracks Bogle. And as that ball comes across as well, just a little nudge again. Enough so it puts Bogle off on the jump, but not too much so he gives away a penalty. It's really intelligent defending.
We're listening to Oxford against Leeds in EFL Game Day Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. Here is Ampadu, midway inside his own half. Sees it as a real honour to lead this Leeds United team, this famous club. And now Rodon striding into Oxford territory. Piru making space, and he's played a really intelligent ball to Firpo. Plays it across to the far post. It just got away from Nonto at the far post. It'll come through to Bogle, down at the corner flag on the near side, the right, into Tanaka on the right corner of the penalty area. They work it back to Tanaka, and then in field to Rodon. But that was a burst of quality and pace there originally from Piru. His intelligent ball to Firpo, but the ball didn't find a teammate.
Yeah, it's brilliant a turn as well, Piru, and I think it's Volks that initially tracked him but gets caught wrong side, and that's why Piru can play that lovely ball out to the left-hand side, but can't quite profit from it in the end. It's Nonto, in terms of the run he makes, it's the right idea, trying to lock off the back of the box, but he's just half a yard away.
Here's Jaden Bogle, wearing number 2 for Leeds, the right back. Comes in field and finds Rodon again. Leeds United, who had something of a wobble in March. They won just one of their 5 league matches, but April's seen a big improvement. 7 points from 3 games. Draw at Luton, followed by back-to-back wins against Middlesbrough and Preston. Here's Piru onto his right foot, tries to slide it into the box. It's back to him. Nifty turn by Solomon, but again Oxford are there. Oxford very organised so far, making Leeds work really hard to break them down. Happy to play on the counter, and now it's slid to Aronson. Good save. Really strong right hands from Jamie Cumming. And then on the follow-up, Leeds make a mess of it. And it's going to be an Oxford goal kick, but Cumming had to respond so quickly to deny Brendan Aronson.
It's a really, really good save. But let's start with the Leeds play. It's short, sharp, quick. They connect really well, and the runs are so dynamic. And that's what they've not done. And see, it gets the opening. Initially, I think the touch, Aronson, it gets away from him, and then you see he's stretching. He still does the right thing, goes across the keeper. It's hard and low. I would have liked it more in the corner, but take nothing away from the save from Cumming. It was excellent.
If you look at Jamie Cummings' data this season, suggests that without him, Oxford would have conceded around about 10 more goals. He's been exceptional this season. He's played every single game. Former Chelsea goalkeeper. And a big, strong right hand to deny Brendan Aronson on that occasion. It's the 18th minute at the Kassam. And it is Oxford 0, Leeds 0. EFL Game Day Live. And a Leeds win would take them back to the top of the Championship. But they're finding Oxford to be stubborn opponents so far. It's pumped down the Oxford right towards Matos, but a strong header away by Ampadu. It's now worked up towards halfway, and Aronson, but he's overrun it. And now Matos can race down the right-hand side for Oxford. He checks back out. Down by the corner flag, finds Poheta. Poheta with a left foot shot, and that's a dribbler all the way into the gloves of Carl Darlow.
I think they just needed to be a little bit more patient there, and Harris was up, so was Goodrum, and I think there's probably the best period of the game for Leeds, so they've spent 5 minutes or so pinned in Oxford, and I think they wanted to get up the pitch quickly, wanted to try and get that shot off Poheta, but for me, it was more about recycling the ball and finding a teammate.
Here come Leeds again, up towards halfway. Tanaka with a little 1-2, and now a bit of space for Rodon. And he's tried to chip it down the inside right channel for Bogle, who'd made an intelligent run. He's trying to keep it in under real pressure from Ben Nelson, who got his position really well there, the centre-back, the 21-year-old. And he just held it, and it goes out for a goal kick. Really smart defending.
Yeah, and I think it's the linking up again with the fact that Goodrum, he's got that engine, he's happy, and he knows he has to come back and do that defensive work and trap Bogle, and so far he's not let him out of his sight.
Live football on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Brentford against Brighton at 3 from the Premier League. Before that, 12:30, the Women's Champions League semi-final first leg between Arsenal and Lyon. Massive game, massive test for Arsenal. You'll be able to hear both of those games on the Talksport network. This game, Oxford Leeds, the 4th Championship commentary we've brought you today. Space here for Manor Solomon. He'll take on Poheta, comes in on his right foot, then waits for Firpo to make the run, but he finds Pirou on the edge of the penalty area, but Pirou dispossessed, and Oxford again defending diligently. Volks now just hooks it forwards. Oxford playing on the counter-attack, and it was too long for Mark Harris, who's got a bit of a thankless task up there, hasn't he, so far tonight?
Yeah, he has, but he's chasing everything down, and I think if it was just maybe him and Ampadu, Harris might have had a chance, because he looked a bit unsure, Ampadu, but Rodon does really well, gets his body across and just slows Harris down.
Junior Firpo down the left for Leeds in an advanced position, finds Tanaka, right foot shot, that's charged down brilliantly on the edge of the penalty area. Great work there from Volks. Now Matos battling away and wins the free kick. The Oxford fans delighted with that. Oxford have been so strong at home. 35 of their 48 points have been collected in this stadium, and it makes such a difference if you've got that belief, that connection with the fans.
Yeah, of course it does, and it's close quarters. The 3 stands, and it's packed to the rafters again tonight. But you're right, it's that home form for most teams is so important, because it's that ability, that connection that you have with your home fans, and there's no doubt that this season those Oxford fans have really got behind their team and pushed them to, you mentioned, those home points.
Gary Rowett took charge of Oxford in December. He's won 8 of his 22 games, including the first 3. It was a rather controversial move when the very popular Des Buckingham was removed by the club, but it's a pragmatic decision, and so far it seems to have worked out.
Yeah, and it's maybe similar when you look at Coventry City, for example, when you've got a manager that's so well loved and so well liked, like Buckingham, like in terms of Mark Robins was. It's always a big decision when you make those decisions, but there was the hierarchy. You have to make decisions with your head rather than your heart, and as you mentioned, it seems to be the right one so far.
It's played by Junior Firpo down the left-hand side for Leeds, but Solomon can't get beyond Poeta, who's working really hard on that side to back up Sam Long so far. And now it's with Ampadu again. Forward to Tanaka. It's that same pattern again. Tried a low ball to the edge of the area. That's only half cleared by Oxford, but again, every time there's a 50-50, they're winning it at the moment. And here now is Tyler Goodrum. He's got a bit of room to manoeuvre on this left-hand side. The 21-year-old. It's just knocked away from him, but it'll be collected by Ben Nelson, another youngster in this team. His 14th league start of the season tonight. Oxford United holding their own against one of the big boys in the Championship. Oxford came up as League One playoff winners last season. If they stay up, that will be seen as a big achievement. Of course, it wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. They were out of the EFL altogether in the National League. What a journey it's been for them. Ball out to this left-hand side, and Joe Bennett, the veteran, 35 now, former Borough and Villa player. Nelson under pressure in his own left-back zone for Oxford. He goes high towards halfway, and loose touch by Goodrum under pressure from Bogle. That's a throw to Leeds.
And it's quite even again. I would say there was a period of maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes where Leeds really put the pressure on, sort of ended in that Aronson shot, and since then again Oxford United have rallied themselves and been a little bit more adventurous going forward. But again, the defensive shape has been excellent, there's no doubt about that. They've really nullified Leeds. I've been really impressed.
Ball bouncing around midfield, Volks and Piru battling for it. Aronson gets involved, and then Tanaka finding Piru 25 yards out, rolls it into the penalty area. Solomon onto his left foot, brilliant sliding challenge by Long. That was outstanding, potentially a goal-saving challenge, and it takes the ball behind for a Leeds corner.
Yeah, and it's probably the first time there that Oxford have got caught in the transition. Acres of space for Piru. The edge of the box, about 30 yards out. Again, strokes it to his left. It's the right decision. As you mentioned, it's a very good defending by Long.
It is a corner on that far side, the Leeds left. It's really boomed towards the far post, and Tanaka couldn't catch up with it, and he heads it behind for an Oxford goal kick. 25th minute here on Talksport, and it is Oxford United 0, Leeds United 0. Only a win tonight would take Leeds top of the Championship.
And look, they'll have that in the back of their heads, and I think for now they won't be too upset. They'll believe that they've got the quality within the squad. They'll be patient, but if this continues into the second half, there'll be a bit more urgency. I think in best case scenario they won't want to use Dan James, but I think if they have to, there's no doubt 0-0. If it's 60, 65 minutes, then they will look to bring him on, but they'll want to be ahead by then.
Swept forward here by Nelson for Oxford towards Poeta. He'll take on Firpo, but Firpo just calmly moves across to take possession, just holds off the Polish international, plays it up towards halfway, and now Nonto running away from goal, having to go back to Rodon under pressure. This is where Oxford are really trying to be active in the Leeds half at times, trying to go at the right times, wait for the right triggers to press.
Yeah, they are, and the big thing for me is they go as a unit so that they're not getting caught out. And there's two reasons for that. One, because the press, as I say, is very good. It's also because, for me, Leeds aren't moving the ball quick enough. They're not recognising the triggers of when they need to move it quickly to be able to catch Oxford out.
Daniel Farker in his padded coat just on the edge of his technical area. He's already taken Norwich City up from the Championship twice. He came so close last season to doing the same with Leeds. They put 90 points on the board, and that was not enough. They only finished third and ended up losing the Championship playoff final to Southampton at Wembley. They won just 2 of their last 8 games of the regular season, and that was not enough. Here is Gruev, tight to the left touchline for Leeds, just rolls it down the far side, but Oxford get a boot in, and Volks forward now to Harris. It was a tight space to play that to Brannigan in. He feels that he was fouled there, and the referee comes across and gives the free kick. But Oxford were playing with fire there, just playing it in tight areas.
Yeah, they were, and normally actually so far in this game Oxford have done really what Leeds haven't, in terms of they've been really proactive, played the ball forward really quickly at the right time with the right tempo, whereas they just tried to do a little bit too much and nearly got caught for it.
Oxford are actually set to leave this ground next year when the lease expires, but they don't yet have the new ground to go to. They're waiting for decisions on whether they can push ahead with a new development near Kidlington. It's possible they could extend their stay here in the short term. The club's chief exec, Tim Williams, has said that planning decision the most crucial in the club's history. And it's a club on an upward curve. I mentioned they were in the National League back in 2010. So to be in the Championship and trying to establish themselves at this level, that really is a lot of forward progress, and it's an iconic football club. Yeah,
and I think that's the main thing, isn't it? It's about that progress, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. And it's important that, you know, players feel valued in that sense, and supporters. It's about moving the club forward, and as you say, iconic, and it's pleasing to see that they've got that forward planning. They're thinking about that.
Just a bit of treatment here for one of the Oxford players away on that far side. Just to remind you, a win for Oxford tonight takes them a massive 8 points clear of the bottom three with 3 match days remaining, so they would be pretty much safe. Leeds, though, need the points for totally different reasons. They are 3 points behind the leaders Burnley, after Burnley won at Watford earlier today, so Leeds do need to win to go back to the top. But just as importantly, Sheffield United won earlier today against Cardiff. That was a game we brought you live here on Talksport. That means that the Blades have moved to within 2 points of Leeds, so they are applying pressure. Leeds with a big game against Stoke at Elland Road on Easter Monday. Big Easter weekend in the EFL. Every twist and turn coming your way across the Talksport network. This is the last of 4 Championship commentaries we brought you today on Good Friday. So play back underway after that delay. Jamie Cumming with the ball in his hands. He's made really impressive save to deny Brendan Aronson, but there was a really big save from Darlow at the other end to deny Quaheta. It's with Harris now, just inside the final third of Leeds, and he was moving out to the far side, the Oxford right, but decision's gone against him. It's going to be a Leeds free kick. Have Oxford got the balance right for you at the moment? There's a lot of defending. They're trying to progress on the counter.
Yeah, as you say, they're trying to progress, and that's the most important thing. They probably look better at it in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but you've got to pick and choose your moments, and when they've found them, especially with Quaheta down that right-hand side, they've tried to play that ball and get forward. There's definitely, they're not dropping into a block, they're not inviting the pressure, which I think is a mistake against Leeds. And yeah, so far they've done well. They've forced a very, very good save from Darlow, so I think they'll be very happy. And you're thinking, obviously, respectively of where the teams are in the league right now, Gary Rowett will no doubt be the happy of the managers.
Ball is chipped down the inside left channel by Leeds. It's a really good ball. Solomon coming onto it, low ball across the face of goal, and it is brilliantly cleared by Nelson, who was under enormous pressure there, and he somehow hooked that behind for a Leeds corner.
Yeah, Nelson was there. I also think his goalkeeper, Jamie Cumming, if Nelson hadn't have got to it, he'd have been there. But one of them had to be, because it was Willie Nonto, wasn't it, at that back post area, just waiting a couple of yards out for that tap-in.
So it is a corner to Leeds on the far side, the Leeds left as we look at it. It'll be Manor Solomon to take it. Here it comes, whipped in with pace towards the near post, flicked on, but to no avail. That's going to go towards the corner flag on the Oxford left. Matos will try and bring that away, just lays it off. They can bang it upfield, but not very far. Straight onto the chest of Nonso, 30 yards from goal. It's played low into the penalty area, and that's swept away by Ben Nelson, who's getting through a lot of work. The on-loan Leicester City defender. It's a throw to Leeds now. 32nd minute, Oxford 0, Leeds 0. Live on Talksport, EFL Game Day. Here is Ampadu. Forward here to Gruev. And this is where, as Courtney Sweetman-Kirk has said a few times, Leeds can maybe just up the tempo. It's all a bit laborious in the build-up. Gruev again, though. Just plays it out to Firpo, and even that was slightly behind him, so he had to check, and that took a bit of momentum out. But here's Solomon trying to put the oomph back into the move, back out to Junior Firpo. Former Barcelona player of real pedigree. And Leeds again, building patiently. Joe Rodon. Nice ball. Down the inside right channel. Bogle to the far post. Brilliant goal. Manor Solomon. And Leeds United taking a step towards the top of the Championship. That's the kind of goal they've been scoring all season long. Incisive ball down the inside right channel. Perfect cross to the far post. And there's Manor Solomon with a vital goal. Oxford 0, Leeds 1.
Brilliant. It's a brilliant, precise piece of play. And this is what I wanted from Leeds. This is what I wanted to see. Yes, they were patient in the build-up, but when it was there, it's the pace, the purpose. The ball, by the way, was absolutely exceptional. The way it penetrates and cuts Oxford United open. There's also the purpose in the run and the dynamism and the pace. I think it was Bogle, wasn't it, that gets down the right-hand side potentially. And then the ball across, it's inch perfect. It really is, and it's just begging to be tapped in. And Solomon, yet again, he's the one with the pace, with the purpose at the back post area to want to stick the ball in the back of the net. And that is Leeds United at their best.
Manor Solomon's 9th league goal of the season. It means he's been involved in 18 goals for Leeds in the Championship this season. They have been outstanding going forward this term. That's their 83rd goal of the league campaign. And after all of Oxford's diligence and dogged defending, they find themselves behind. And Courtney, it was a move of the highest quality.
Yeah, it was. And I don't mind when teams move it round at the back slowly to then do that, to flip the switch. But they weren't doing that enough, Leeds. But as you mentioned, the quality, the movement, the weight of pass, the preciseness of pass and the runs, it was all just perfect. For five seconds there, it was just absolutely exceptional from Leeds United.
Excellent cross by Bogle, but the ball to find him was exceptional too. And then Solomon made the run at the perfect time. How will Oxford respond? Here's Poeta down the right-hand side, finds Matos, tight to the touchline. It was a rather clumsy challenge from Junior Firpo, and that's going to be a free kick on that far side, the right, for Oxford. Can they find a way to turn this game around? Even if they were to lose tonight, it's still a 5-point gap between them and the bottom three. They've tried to take that free kick quickly. Oxford did lose their last home game, 3-1 against QPR, but responded really well with that win at Sheffield Wednesday. And they have won this free kick. They will want to respond quickly. 10 minutes to go in this first half, plus stoppage time. Live Championship football on Talksport. It'll be an outswinger from that right-hand side. Nelson up from the back. Hellick, imposing figure in the D. Harris is offside at the moment, but won't necessarily stay that way. As is often the case these days, you can do that. You can mess with defenders and be in an offside position to start with. Here it comes, right-footed into the penalty area, but the whistle has gone. Bit of pushing and shoving, and that will be a Leeds free kick.
It's actually Harris, and I think that was the plan all along, for him to stand offside to try and lull Leeds into a false sense of security, and he was the blocker on Ampadu. The referee was wise to it, and it's the correct decision.
Bit of space here for Ampadu. Oxford United have been so strong at home, but they do have one of the worst attacking records in the division. Only scored 43 goals in 42 games. Only Plymouth have a lower expected goals figure than them. Well, they've made a lot out of a little generally this season.
Yeah, they haven't, and we've mentioned the set pieces, and in terms of that ratio, nearly, well, just over actually, 37% of their goals, Oxford United, have come from set pieces. It's the third most in the league, and it's the same with the amount they've scored. So we know that It's a bit rarer in terms of their open play goals, but they'll still feel they're in it at 1-0.
Just to remind you, a Leeds United victory would put them top of the championship with 3 games to go. Good run by Poeta, though, racing into the penalty area and away by Rodon. That was a turbocharged run by Przemysław Poeta, and his team on the follow-up have won a corner. It was Harris trying to play the ball back into the box, but what a run by Poeta.
Oh, unbelievable. He went into fast-forward mode, didn't he? And then at that point, when he drives into the box, you see the Leeds United defenders, they're panicking, and Rodon, he does well, and it's easier for him because he's coming from the angle of the ball, so he can sort of come across, where all the other Leeds United defenders, it's a weird angle for them. They don't want to dangle a foot and give away a penalty.
It was the Polish road runner there. It's going to be a corner on the far side, the right. High-hanging ball to the far post, only half away. It was thrashed goalwards by Will Volks. It didn't get very far. Poeta on the volley, fully 30 yards out. He really connected, left-footed, but Leeds again able to make the block.
Yeah, but sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Sometimes they fly in the back of the net. Sometimes actually it takes a little deflection and lands to a teammate. So why not have a go? He's obviously feeling confident.
Brought into the team tonight, and he's had some really bright moments. Przemysław Poeta, signed in the summer from Swansea. Here's that long throw from Volks again, flicked on by Helik. It'll drop on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Darlow does really well there. Just comes out, grabs it with 2 hands, and that's the kind of positive goalkeeping Leeds need. Yeah,
and you know, that's why he's been brought into the side. The positivity, the fact that he will come and command his area. You're less worried about him flapping at something or dropping a ball, and you see that it's obviously great communication because Rodon just drops his head, so he's obviously got the shout from the goalkeeper and feels confident that the goalkeeper's going to come and collect.
Space here for Will Volks in the centre circle. He's sent Long a long way back with that pass, but Long looking for Poeta. And Oxford need a bit more quality than that. It was a poor ball to Long in the first place, and all he could do really was just smash it upfield.
Yeah, and I think that's knocked the stuffing out of Oxford United, hasn't it? And there's no surprise there. I think they've defended so diligently, and it's probably for, as I mentioned, 5 seconds that they've switched off and they got completely cut open. Pass into Bogle, brilliant ball across, and it's 3 passes, and next thing you know, you're 1-0 down.
They had managed 3 clean sheets in their last 5 games, Oxford, although that is the 61st goal they've conceded in the league this season. Lost the reverse to Leeds 4-0. Leeds have won themselves a free kick 10 yards inside their own half, inside left channel. It was out to Naka, who was fouled. Leeds United 1-0 up. A goal from Manuel Solomon in the 33rd minute at the Casal. EFL Game Day Live.
He was one of those goal scorers in the reverse fixture as well, wasn't he, Solomon? So sometimes you have those teams where you always play well against, you always score against. So you'll be happy with that one, I'm sure.
Former Fulham player, Manuel Solomon. It's played up the inside right channel. It bounces towards Nonto. Nods it down for Piru. Piru couldn't force his way towards the penalty area, and Oxford able to clear, and then Ampadu caught there on the far side by Poeta, and straight away the referee Dean Whitestone just on the scene and potentially calling for treatment here for Ampadu. It was a full-blooded challenge between the two of them.
Yeah, it was. I think it was actually a high foot from Poeta. There's no intention to go and hurt Ampadu. It's just to try and get the ball, and straight away I think you can tell, you know, when Poeta straight away hands up, goes over to Ampadu, so you know at that point that you know it's a foul. He feels bad about it. It wasn't intentional, and the physios haven't been waved on just yet, so I think they're just giving Ampadu a bit of time to collect his senses.
Is it a horrible moment that when you go in for a challenge and you know you're not going to get there and you're going to end up fouling the player?
There's 2 sides of it. There's the one where you do that and you know that you can't pull out, it's too late, you know you're going to hurt the player, you know you're not going to get near the ball. There's the other one as well, what Ampadu will know, where he's going in for the challenge and thinking I'm going to take a massive whack here, but you know, that's what you do for your team.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? That full-blooded commitment, especially at this moment of the season. Oxford and Leeds with very different agendas, of course. Oxford trying to stay in the Championship, Leeds trying to get out of it and trying to go back to the Premier League. And if they win tonight, they go back to the top of the table, above Burnley on goal difference, but perhaps even more crucially, 5 points clear of Sheffield United. Piroud with a nice little layoff to Firpost. Good football from Leeds down the far side, the Leeds left, but then given away by Gruev rather cheaply. Matos yet again working hard without the ball. He's been phenomenal in his work out of possession, Alex Matos. He's an attacking player. He's only 20 and he's put himself about.
Yeah, he hasn't. Obviously, as a forward player, you want to be higher up the pitch and scoring goals. But actually, his work rate off the ball is what's been most impressive so far.
Header from Joe Bennett in the Leeds right-back zone, but he couldn't bring down the switch, and it's going to be a throw to Leeds in their own right-back zone. Oxford have scored in their last 8 championship games, so they'll feel they've got the firepower to turn this one around. But at the moment, in the 43rd minute, it is Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Manor Solomon's goal. The difference. Nelson with a high-hanging ball into the Leeds penalty area. They've not really got Harris into the game so far, the number 9, the lone striker. And here's Solomon suddenly trying to race away from Poeta, who's come back to try and affect him. Solomon away from him not once but twice, lays it off to Aronson, 25 yards out inside left channel. Nonto now just jabs it into the penalty area. Volks is there, but all he can do is half clear it. Nonto's there again, back to Tanaka, midway inside the Oxford half, across to Ampadu. Now it's with Aronson, and he works it down the inside left channel. Well seen by Sam Long, read the danger and clears into Leeds territory.
Yeah, it does really well, but it's those cutting balls in between the centre half and the fullback that Leeds seem to really try and work. But just going back to Solomon there, the way that he goes down that left-hand side, and is really clever, because most players, he'd blitz for pace, and he knows with Poeta he can't. So he stops the ball, comes back inside, and yeah, it's just really intelligent, clever play that I really liked.
Poeta is a speedster, no doubts about that. And one wonders actually if that's why he was brought into the team tonight. Bit of space here for Bogle. What a season he is having. Did Nonto let that ball run out? Yes, he did. Linesman took a little while to make that judgment, but got there in the end, and it'll be an Oxford throw. We're in the final minute of the 45. Leeds heading towards what would be a precious, precious win. Of course, this is where they faltered last season. 2 wins in the last 8 games of the regular season. They've had their wobble in March. They've come through that. Now it's about trying to make those final few painful steps.
Yeah, and it's only 3 games after this, but very much will feel like a lifetime until they're, mathematically there. There will be no letting the foot off the gas. And as I say, I think they're in a different position now where it's not here we go again. I think last season serves as a reminder and a motivation.
Bogle trying to catch up with it. Did, but all he can do is swing the ball into the Oxford penalty area. 3 minutes of additional time we will have. We're into the first of those. And Carl Darlow tested just the once, really, with the score at 0-0. What can Oxford do to be more effective in attack?
I very much think we've mentioned Poeta. He's been excellent, and getting him more into the game. They've got to be a little bit more adventurous now at some point, Oxford United. Maybe 10-15 minutes in the second half you can keep it tight, but after that we're going to have to let a few more players loose out of that shape, because that's the only way that they're going to get forward and create more issues, win free kicks, win set pieces, which we know they're very good at.
Oxford wanted a free kick a moment ago, felt Goodrum was fouled, but Solomon's got it down the left now, and he surges towards the penalty area. Long trying to shepherd the ball out, did a really good job. Again, Sam Long just held his man off. He's a fan favourite here, his 269th Oxford appearance. He's actually, I know that seems strange because Solomon scored the goal, but by and large he's done a good job against him.
Yeah, he has, and I'd say it was just a moment really where everything clicked for Leeds United. So I wouldn't be too disheartened about that. Just looking at Tyler Goodrum as well, I think he's done so much work defensively to try and nullify Jayden Bogle. I think that's probably another area where they can look at and maybe try and let him loose a little bit. And yes, you are going to forego then the fact that Jayden Bogle's going to get more time on the ball, but it's about that risk and reward and what he can offer going forward.
Bogle's third assist in the Championship this season. Did score against Oxford in the reverse. He is very attack-minded full-back, as is Junior Firpo on the other side. It's only really the goalkeeper who isn't attack-minded in this Leeds team, to be honest. Goes long here from Cumming, headed away by Junior Firpo. Header, it's a strong one by Helik on halfway, and Goodrum just slipped there at the vital moment, lost it to Piru, and here's Nonto. The diminutive forward player forward towards Aronson. Really good goalkeeping by Cumming. He read the danger. Great starting position. I was able to gobble the ball up.
And you look where he collects the ball, sort of 17 yards, a yard out just from that 18-yard line. And as you say, the fact that he's anticipating, he's on the front foot, he's not caught on his heels. One of the fastest players on the pitch, Aronson. So you've got to get your start position right. And if you get to the ball first, as a goalkeeper does, then you've done a really good job against a player like Aronson with the speed that he's got.
Matos has won it on the left corner of the penalty area here for Oxford. Trying to work it down that left-hand side. Harris was looking to win a corner, but he hasn't. And the ball rebounds off him and goes out for a Leeds goal kick. And they are nearly there, Leeds. Nearly through to half-time with a 1-0 lead. And that will feel like a good step forward. Yeah,
well, and that was a massive reaction, actually, from Roden there. Kicks it out off Harrison. You see, turns to his goalkeeper. They both fist pump the air, and that just shows what it means, the value that they're putting, one on this win, but also the clean sheet.
People get a bit sniffy about that type of thing these days, but I think, why should it just be strikers who celebrate these things?
Exactly.
Half-time, and Leeds halfway to what would be a very precious win that would take them top of the Championship tonight. Just one goal in it so far, scored by Manor Solomon in the 33rd minute. It was a great Leeds move. Ball to slice open the Oxford defence to find Jayden Bogle on the right-hand side. His low cross to the far post and tucked away by Manor Solomon. Half-time on EFL Game Day Live. And it's Oxford United 0, Leeds United 1.
Yeah, so far so good for Daniel Farker's side. They go now at the top of the table, level on points with Burnley, but their superior goal difference means they are leading the way as it stands at half-time. As you heard Kevin Hatchard say there, great goal it was from Solomon. Defence splitting pass from Joe Roden, fantastic pass. Jayden Bogle onto it like a flash, and he put a beautiful low cross across the goal, and Manor Solomon just had to tap it in at the back post. Oxford have had their goes as well, though, Courtney. I mean, Darlow had a couple of good saves to make, so it's not all one-way traffic, but so far you almost feel like it's Leeds that are going to get the second, as opposed to Oxford maybe sort of coming back into it.
Yeah, you do right now, and as you say, it's been not a case of Oxford sitting in 11 behind the ball and not showing any adventure going forward. There's been some good opportunities. Darlow's had to make a couple of good saves. Poheta, for me, was looked really, really dangerous out on that right-hand side. The speed, it's like you're almost watching him in double time. So I think they need to try and exploit that more in the second half. And Tyler Goodrum, I understand it because I've been there as a wide player when you're asked to track the opposite fullback, and then you don't want to leave your fullback in a 2-on-2 situation if that's how that team play and they're expansive in wide areas. But I think at some point they're either going to need to change the formation a little bit to be able to get more bodies up, or let the likes of Tyler Goodrum just go forward a little bit more, and release the shackles in knowing that, yes, Jayden Bogle's going to get a little bit more forward, but it's about that risk and reward for yourself, and the only way that Oxford are going to get back in the game is showing that little bit more adventure going forward. But look, this isn't anything against them. I understand why they're doing it right now. You want to stay in for the game as long as possible, and then if it stays 1-0 for 60, 65, 70 minutes, then Oxford United can think about, right, we're going to have a right good go at this now, and if we get caught out, then so be it. But they don't want to open themselves up too quickly, go 2-3-0 down really early in this game.
Yeah, Matos can be so influential, just the way in which he plays, but he's almost doing a lot of the doggy work in his own half, and it's good, and Oxford fans always applaud the fact that he does run around and he does put a shift in, but that needs to be in Leeds' half, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, and that's the issue when you're in a team and the bottom half of the table. It's as simple as that. You have to work a little bit differently. You look on the other side of it today, and you look at Leeds and you look at the likes of Piru and their other forward players. They're not having to come back. That's just the way it works. So yes, in an ideal world, you want your forward players further up the pitch, but sort of sometimes when you're in that position in the table, that's the price you have to pay. But as I mentioned, you have to pay it for so long. If you're still within one goal with 75 minutes, that's when you change it. That's when you can be expansive. That's when you can take a few more risks.
Yeah, they scored in the 34th minute. They could have scored in the 17th minute. I mean, Leeds United scored for choice up front, and Aronson goes through. Good save, Jamie Cumming.
Yeah, it was a good save, and maybe it's, the former centre-forward and me being very critical. I think Aronson can do better. I think initially his touch gets away from him, and then he's almost fighting a battle. We know he's quick, but I think he's fighting the battle to get there, and then when he does take the shot on, he's not quite set as much as he would want to be. I think if he really drills that in the side netting in the left corner, I think he scores. But take nothing away from Jamie Cumming, who I think's been excellent. He does really well, and again, in that moment, he comes forward, he sets himself, then he takes a couple of steps forward, so you see, he cuts down the angle for Aronson, which does make it more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Rowell will look at his side and think, okay, 1 second, this is a team that had beat Watford, that had beat Sheffield United, had beat Sheffield Wednesday. He'll have faith that they can come back into this one, won't he?
Yeah, he will. There's no doubt about that, and they've, as I mentioned, from what I've seen, they've got the ability. Yes, there has to be that element of risk and reward, but they've also, got the likes of Bradshaw, on the bench and players like that Matt Phillips that can come on. They've got quality. They know where the goal is, and I think now for Oxford United, it's about timing. It's all about timing. So there's two ways you look at it. Second half, you come out the traps like a bullet out of a gun, and you use the likes of Plaheta and his pace, and you try and catch Leeds a little bit asleep. The other way you do it is you give yourself 10-15 minutes, you keep yourself really stable. The players out there, you say, right, run yourself into the ground. We've got players that can come on and take your place. So that's the balance. That's what Gary Rowell will be assessing, and the way that he's going to try and get his team back into this game. But the most important thing is you don't concede the second goal, because once you do that, it's Leeds' game.
At the top of the show, we praise Burnley for only conceding 14 goals. I guess we've got to equally put a lot of praise on the fact that Leeds have scored 83 goals so far this season. I mean, Norwich are next with 66. 83 goals, Courtney.
Yeah, it's scary, but I think me and Kevin mentioned it within the game. It's because they've got goals from all over the pitch. It's not just that they're reliant on Piru or Dan James that's on the bench. Everyone chips in within this team, defenders, midfielders, forward, and that's a nice place to be. And I think I mentioned it, as a centre forward, sometimes you feel that pressure, and the pressure's good, and I always enjoyed it. But equally, if you're the only one scoring goals, you've got that in the back of your head. So every time a chance comes, you think, I've got to score this because no one else is going to. And maybe sometimes when that creeps into your head, you snatch at chances, whereas I think it gives a confidence and a calmness to think, obviously you never want to miss a chance, but you think, well, if I do miss a chance, I know that we're going to create more. I know that players around me are going to be able to chip in, and that's a wonderful place to be as a centre-forward and as a team.
Yeah, I think we'll get more goals second half in this one. Cheers, Courtney, appreciate it. Earlier on Talksport, Sheffield United secured a huge 3 points with a 2-0 win against Cardiff in their push for automatic promotion. But the games come thick and fast in the Championship, and with Burnley next for the Blades, Talksport's Adam Bridge asked manager Chris Wilder for his thoughts ahead of the big one.
Can we enjoy this one first for half an hour?
It's such a quick turnaround, though, isn't it?
It's like, well, it isn't really. I mean, it's a Saturday-Tuesday game, really, isn't it? What is it, 4 hours? Yeah. It's 4 hours, so it'll feel like that. But we have to prepare properly. We have to obviously get the game plan right and our approach, and we have to show personality and belief in the players and what they do, and hopefully that'll come to fruition come Monday night. We're going to have to put a big performance in, you understand that, and hopefully with a big performance comes an opportunity of getting that result.
Yeah, big win for Sheffield United today. Stop the slide. Remember, it was 3 defeats in a row prior to that. Loss against Oxford, lost against Millwall, lost against Plymouth. Argyle needed the 3 points against Cardiff, got it. Now it is a 5-point gap between them and Burnley. They go to Turf Moor on Monday. That game live on Talksport. Cardiff are effectively 2 points from safety due to their inferior goal difference to 21st place Derby, and it's safe to say manager Omar Rizzo wasn't in the best of moods when he was asked whether he believes he can secure championship safety for the club.
Well, I answered that question on Thursday. If I didn't think I was the right man for the job, then I wouldn't be standing here. So, I think if you look at the performance today, I think we've come to Sheffield United away from home, who are fighting for promotion, and again, there's not much in the game in respect of the result. You know, you look at the moments where we could have done better, needed to do better, and we didn't. And the goals we conceded were, you know, come against a little bit against the run of play. So, second half, I thought we controlled the game quite well. And we tried to score and create. We weren't able to do it. And like I say, now we go into Oxford on Monday with those moments of confidence from this game today to try and get the points.
Look, he can count himself a bit unfortunate with how the goals played out. 2 goals, maybe deflections, it can be brought into it, but the fact is Cardiff are 23rd in the Championship, just 2 points above Plymouth. Their next go to Oxford, after that is West Brom, after that is Norwich. They simply have to get 6 points, minimum 4 from those 3 ties just to give them a chance to stay in the league. All right, this Easter Sunday, Talksport brings you live boxing commentary as Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron face off in their highly anticipated rematch in Birmingham. The first fight in October last year ended as a controversial draw when the 2 men fell out of the ring. That's Whittaker versus Cameron, the rematch this Easter Sunday on the Talksport Network and Talksport Boxing YouTube channel. Should be a good one. Right, that's on Sunday, but currently our attention is on the Kassam Stadium, where Oxford United trail Leeds by a 0-0. Daniel Farke's side are moving back to the top of the Championship, but will they stay there? Second half is coming up next.
EFL Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get reward points too. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
This is it.
Level 23. Final round.
Let's go.
Let's go. Almost.
Help.
Guys.
All right, I need
more
power.
Boost your broadband to turbocharge your gaming and reduce lag with EE Wi-Fi Enhancer. This is broadband made for gaming. Search EE Broadband.
Wi-Fi Enhancer available with Smart Hub Pro and Smart Hub Plus. Terms apply.
I walk into Diane's living room and I see her beautiful new rug. Oh, it's from Ruggable, is it? Oh, it's dead stylish. But what are you saying, babes? Are you moving in more sophisticated circles these days? Oh, hang on. Now she's telling me she can stick it in the wash. Now that is the Diane I know and love. Go on then, crack it open. Get 20% off the entire machine washable range for a limited time at ruggable.co.uk with code RADIO20. T's and C's apply. Beautiful, washable, Ruggable.
This Easter at Tesco, get 12 bottles of Cruz Campo Lager, now just £10, down from £12 with your Tesco Club card. Tesco, every little helps. Drink aware 18 plus, majority of larger stores, ends 21st of April. Club card or app required.
Specialist power tools? Then look no further than CEF Power Pro. Our next day delivery on over 3,000 products means you can get straight to work with top brands like Milwaukee, DeWalt and Makita. That's specialist tools for serious pros. We've got the power tools you need to work smart and get the job done. Visit cef.co.uk or your local branch today. CEF Power Pro. Engineered for power, built for pros.
You got a little Ouija with Paddy Power on this one then?
Yeah, mate. Big man to score anytime. I'm backing him.
And it looks like it's the big man who's coming off. Oh, he's going to struggle to score from the bench, pal.
Oh, fear not, punter, because with Paddy Power's Super Sub, your bet carries over to the player coming on.
Y'all ready for this?
So now, all subs are super. Paddy Power. Football, you gotta love it. Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Where would we be without the curiosity to explore? It takes us to new places.
It even got us to the moon.
And now there's never been a better time to satisfy your curiosity about electric cars. With great offers in our award-winning range, including the Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6, available with £2,000 deposit contribution and 0% APR. Discover more at Hyundai.co.uk. Ends 30th of June 25. Finance subject to status. Hyundai Motor UK Limited is a credit broker, not a lender. Terms apply.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, Talksport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half-and-half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talksport with Coral. We're here for the fans. 18 plus. GambleAware.org. Live football coverage that's beyond compare.
What a ball!
No one does football quite like this.
He hits it first time. What a volley, what a goal!
EFL Game Day Live on Talksport.
It's Good Friday, had thrills and spills already. And now it's slid to Aronson. Good save. Really strong right hands from Jamie Cumming. And then on the follow-up, Leeds make a mess of it.
Really, really good save. But let's start with the Leeds play. It's short, sharp, quick. They connect really well, and the runs are so dynamic.
Nice ball down the inside right channel. Bogle to the far post. Brilliant goal. Manor Solomon and Leeds United taking a step towards the top of the championship. That's the kind of goal they've been scoring all season long. Incisive ball down the inside right channel. Perfect cross to the far post. And there's Manor Solomon with a vital goal. Oxford 0, Leeds 1.
Welcome back to EFL Game with Day Live. As you heard there, the voice of Kevin Hatchard. It currently is Oxford 0, Leeds United 1. Fantastic team goal. Joe Roden, defence splitting pass. Bogle on the right-hand side. Ball across the goal. Solomon tapped it in for his 9th goal of the season. But Gary Rowett would think that his Oxford United side can get back into this one. Currently, they're on a bit of a run of form as Oxford United. Don't blind by their position in the table, 19th. This is a team that have won their last 3, including that big win against Sheffield United. So they're going to think, Courtney, they've still got what it takes to maybe get something from this one.
Yeah, and they have to. You have to have that belief, especially at home. We mentioned their home record as well. A majority of their points have been accrued here. And also the scoreline. Regardless of who you play in, at 1-0, there's always a chance. Could be anything. A spectacular goal, a mistake by the opposition side. Maybe someone gets sent off. Who knows? But yeah, Oxford United will believe in, and conversely to that, Leeds United will want that second goal as quickly as possible to make it as comfortable as possible for the rest of the night.
Well, let's see how they go on. It is Oxford United currently 19th versus Leeds United currently first now in the championship. Let's go back to your commentary team with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, but first it's Kevin Hatchard.
Thanks, Addy. Just to remind everyone, Leeds United will only go back to the top of the championship tonight if they win. They would go level on points with Burnley at the top on 91, having played 43 games, but they've got a significantly better goal difference than Burnley at the moment. Sheffield United are currently on 86 points, so if Leeds were to win, the gap between the top 2 and 3rd place Sheffield United would be 5 points. As for Oxford, they know that if they were to turn this around and win, then they would suddenly be 8 points clear of the relegation zone with just 3 matches left, and they would pretty much be safe in the championship. And you think, actually, Courtney, that they might have done enough already?
Yeah, I do, and as I say, it could be very wrong, but you get feelings when you're physically at games, and I just feel like they're the ones that are going to go and win the championship. That win at Ellen Road against Preston, I don't know, just felt like something special. If they back it up today, I think they put themselves in a fantastic position, especially when you think Burnley and Sheffield United are playing each other on Easter Monday. I think it all seems to be favouring Leeds as it stands.
So we are ready to get back underway at the Kassam. Oxford kickers off, playing from left to right, yellow shirts and those dark shorts. As for Leeds, they're in an all dark blue away kit, playing towards the goal away to our left. Let's give you the 2 lineups then. Jamie Cumming in goal for Oxford, Joe Bennett, Miko Hellick, Ben Nelson and Sam Long, the back 4, Will Volkson, Cameron Brannigan, the deep midfielders, and then it's Chemiswell Poaheta, Alex Matos and Tyler Goodrum supporting the lone frontman Mark Harris. Leeds with Carl Darlow in goal, a back 4 of Jaden Bogle, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu and Junior Firpo. It's Autanaka and Ilya Gruev, the 2 holders, and then Willie Nonto, Brendan Aronson and Manor Solomon, the goal scorer, all supporting Joel Piroux in attack. Leeds in possession, just inside their own half. This is the latest of 4 championship commentaries for you today across the Talksport network. And we've got more football for you tomorrow on Talksport 2. We've got Brentford against Brighton. That one's a 3 o'clock kickoff. And before then, got Arsenal against Lyon in the first leg of the Women's Champions League semi-finals. That one kicks off at 12:30. Live commentary of that one on Talksport 2 as well. Matos with the turn for Oxford on the right-hand side, but he ran out of real estate, and that's going to be a throw to Leeds in their own left-back zone. It'll be Junior Firpo to take it. Leeds face Stoke at Ellen Road on Monday. Big games for Oxford as they go to Cardiff. Cardiff will feel that's a must-win, and if Oxford were to lose tonight and then were to lose against Cardiff on Monday, might get a bit dicey for them.
It might well do, and that's why, I think we mentioned it at the top of the show, Gary Rowett won't want to be in a position where he's letting his players think they're safe until it's mathematically all tied up. They will be playing the way that to get those points, to make sure they ensure their safety, to then build, to look forward to next season in the Championship. That's the most important thing for Oxford United right now.
Piru slick on towards halfway, but Oxford able to take it with Brannigan. Brannigan, the former Liverpool youngster, signed from Liverpool back in 2018. They work it down the left here, Oxford, and it's smashed away by Ampadu. Ampadu and Joe Rodon have done a pretty good job so far at centre-back.
Yeah, both so solid, aren't they? But they've got both sides of their game. Yes, they're solid, and obviously we see it from Rodon. That ball into Bogle. So they're both ball-playing centre-halves, but when needed, they don't mess about with it. They stick to their defensive duties.
Long throw here for Oxford. Here comes Will Volks. Flat throw towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's an amazing weapon he's got, that long throw. Said he has no shame in using it. You've got to use every trick in the book to build pressure. And here he is again, this time with a cross. Bouncing ball, and Darlow able to take it in that 6-yard box. And he hasn't put a foot wrong so far, Carl Darlow. And he tries to release it quickly, but the whistle had already gone. There's a Leeds player down on the far side as we look at it. Leeds wanted to get on with it, but Oxford had actually pretty much stopped playing.
Exactly, and Solomon's absolutely gutted. Nearly lands in front of us, up in the press box, the ball, and he looks clean through, but you're right. Oxford United players weren't paying attention. They knew the whistle had gone. They weren't interested in wasting any energy.
So Leeds will get the ball back. It's at the feet of Carl Darlow, all in pink tonight. Leeds with a strong defensive record, just 29 goals conceded in the league. Only Burnley have a better defensive record. But having said that, Leeds have only kept 2 clean sheets in the last 10 in the Championship. Hellick all the way back to his goalkeeper, Jamie Cumming, who made an outstanding save from Aronson with the score at 0-0. Since then, Manol Solomon has scored the only goal of the game in the 33rd minute. Now it goes out to Bennett on the left-hand side, goes back now to Nelson, who had some impressive moments at centre-back for Oxford. And now it, on the bounce, goes onto the chest of Sam Long on halfway for Oxford. Forward to Matos. Bundle of energy down the right-hand side, but hooked away from him by Junior Firpo, and he just caught Firpo on the follow-through. No malice in that, just a bit clumsy. The referee comes across and gives the free kick. Wants a word, but nothing more than that. Wasn't a huge amount in it.
No, and I think because Firpo wants to thump the ball clear as well, he's then off balance, so then it almost makes the challenge look a lot worse than it actually is.
Oxford United came into the league at the start of this season from League One, winning those playoffs. Massive step forward for them, having been away from the second tier for so long. Does feel like a club on the up, but they are facing a team that believes it belongs in the Premier League, that has some players who look as though they would belong in the Premier League. And a couple of seasons ago, the club was in the Premier League. Long ball by Darlow down the left for Leeds, and just over the head of Piru. He's had some nice touches, Joel Piru, but he's not had a clear sight of goal yet.
No, he's not, but the thing I love about him is he's always available. He never stops running, even when he's either not getting chances or like the game last time out at Preston where he had a few chances and he should have done better with. He doesn't stop, he's always showing, he doesn't hide, and I love that from a player.
Forward by Nelson from halfway for Oxford. It falls to Brannigan in the centre circle, and then it's a bit short from Hellick, but Long made a lot out of a little there, the right back for Oxford. And Hellick now, who joined in January from Huddersfield and has played pretty much every game since, goes back to his goalkeeper, Jamie Cumming. All in green tonight. He smashes it long. Live championship commentary on Talksport. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Manor Solomon with the only goal of the game. 52nd minute at the Kassam. So this game still very much in the balance. Only a Leeds win would take them top of the championship tonight. Here is Bennett on halfway for Oxford as they try and work it in fields into the centre circle. Curling ball out to Poeta on the right hand side, the number 7. Had some really lively moments in the first half, but he was double teamed there by Solomon and Junior Firpo. The home fans didn't like that. They felt that he'd been stepped across, but the referee unmoved, and Leeds trying to play their way through the pressure here out towards Nonso on the right hand side, but he allows Jaden Bogle to take it up. They've got men forward here, Leeds. Bogle, it's a storming run, and he's found Aronson. Aronson just had it toe-ended away from him, and then Bogle 14 yards out, dead centre, has a right foot shot wide of the target. Big chance for Leeds United.
It's a big miss, you know, because it's not just wide of the target. This is very wide of the target. Good break, though, in counter-attack from Leeds. Aronson, the ball gets away from him in the second touch, but the initial one where he takes it on the back foot, drops the shoulder and turns is beautiful. And Bogle, he'll be so disappointed with himself, and that's why, as his hands on his face, he looks up to the sky because he knows he should be at least hitting the target at a bare minimum there.
Long ball from Cumming. The header runs loose here for Nelson, who just sweeps it out to the right-hand side. That's over the head of Junior Firpo. Just lets it run. Can Leeds United see this through? How they would love a second goal just to bring down the anxiety levels. Daniel Farkas talked a lot about trying to stay calm in the moment, but also trying to get fire into his players. It's a difficult balance to strike.
It must be hard, but you look at him as a manager and he looks so unfazed, he looks so calm. I think that helps the players so much, but that balance in between that energy, especially when you're having games in short succession, and the fire, but also having the composure and not getting too caught up in the noise, both on and off the pitch. It's a tough balance to strike.
You hear him talk in his normal speaking voice, and you can't imagine he'd scream at anyone, but he obviously does from time to time. Here's Tyler Goodrum. Takes it away from Bogle and works it out to the far touchline, and Oxford trying to be patient, trying to have some possession. They haven't had a lot in the game, truth be told. Here is Miko Hellick, who just had a loose touch there, and Piro's eyes lit up there. Joel Piro, but he couldn't retrieve the ball. Piro has 15 goals in the Championship this season. He's made 6 more. He's been a huge player for Leeds. Also, it seems remarkable to me that he's never played a senior game for the Netherlands, even though he was a youth international for them. Oxford have won themselves a throw-in here midway inside the Leeds half. Leeds lead 1-0. Here it comes from Volks into the Leeds penalty area. It's flicked on. It's bouncing around the edge of the penalty area, and Leeds able to clear it up towards halfway. Joe Bennett on the cover. Nods it towards the edge of the Leeds box, and it was Tanaka who was going for it. Now it's played forward towards Manor Solomon. Comfortable in his own left-back zone there, Solomon. Just worked it across the defensive line. And now Jaden Bogle with the switch into the feet of Aronson, who's always so energetic. The American international came back to Leeds, having had a loan spell in Germany with Union Berlin. He felt he had unfinished business with Leeds, wanted to help them get promotion to the Premier League. He's a player who was starting to see the best of.
Yeah, and I think more clinical as well, and that was the main thing. He always got himself in some fantastic positions, and actually very similar probably to Dan James in that sense. Got that raw pace, has the ability, the work rate, the willingness, but sometimes, more often than not in years gone by, in front of goal didn't do enough, whereas now you're starting to see the difference in both of them.
Switch play towards Poeta down the right for Oxford, but excellent work from Junior Firpo in the first instance, and then Ampadu came across to sweep it away. It's with Solomon. Just works it infield to Gruev. Gruev, who First made his name in Germany with Werder Bremen as a promising youngster. They would have loved to have kept him at the club, but moved to Leeds United. And he's been a regular ever since. And Leeds again, just calm in possession. They lead 1-0 with a goal from Manor Solomon. 57th minute here on Talksport. EFL Game Day Live, the last of 4 championship commentaries we brought you today across the Talksport network, and big games keep on coming. Every twist and turn of the rest of the EFL season, you will find it right here, either on Talksport or Talksport 2, the home of the EFL.
Can't help but think that both teams are biding their time at the minute. I think Oxford United are waiting for, I would imagine, a timing that Gary Rowett has given them for the shackles to come off, and Leeds, they're just waiting for that moment, that 5 seconds again where Oxford United switch off, for that moment they can really exploit, because really they don't have to go forward with any urgency at the minute. They've got the goal. Yes, 2 would be fantastic, but they don't need to upset the balance.
Just gentle jabs from both teams at the moment, waiting for the later rounds. That's a nice ball by Tanaka, though. Finds Aronson towards Firpo, and he was really well challenged on the edge of the penalty area by Hellick. And now Oxford try and break down the right-hand side, and again, Ampadu so calm, so composed. He's finally found a home, really, at Leeds United. It's his 7th professional club. He bounced around on loan. He's been in different countries, in Germany and Italy, but finally, he's found some roots.
Yeah, and also sort of sticking to a position as well. We know he can play that defensive midfield role, and I'm not saying that he can't do either well, but I think it's always better when you've got that consistency as a player. That partnership with him and Roden is certainly bearing fruits, and you can see they're so solid together.
Here is Poeta down the right-hand side. Leeds have a player down at the moment, but the referee content to play on at this stage. It's helped forward by Volks down the right-hand side, flicked on by Poeta. Matos tried to let it bounce, but Junior Firpo was all over him, but didn't give away a free kick. And now Oxford have brought down Aronson as he was moving through the gears, and Will Volks, like a naughty school kid, tries to move away as quickly as he can, but it doesn't get the job done for him because he receives the yellow card.
Yeah, I was always going to get caught for that one because the ball's gone, and you see it's just that flick out, just to flick the heels of Aronson to try and stop him in his tracks. It's always going to be a caution.
Why do players always think they can run away without the referee noticing?
I really don't know. You know, there's sometimes I think, look at players and what they do and the things that I used to do on the pitch and think, why did you ever do that? But you just get caught in the moment.
The voice of the former Liverpool, Everton, Sheffield United striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, alongside Kevin Hatchard for this one on Talksport. Oxford 0, Leeds 1, and ticking towards the hour mark. And a game that's still in the balance. Lovely drop of the shoulder by Aronson. Slides it out to the right for Bogle. Back to Aronson, right edge of the penalty area. And his cross was deflected and into the gloves of Cumming, who had to adjust really quickly and move towards his goal when he didn't expect it.
Yeah, he does really well, the goalkeeper. And Aronson slips at the vital time, which is, well, I think causes the deflection. Goalkeeper, as he has been all game, excellent in the reaction, but that's not a good ball.
No, he's giving it away, and here's Aronson charging through the middle. Sliding challenge by Hellick is going to be not only a free kick but a yellow card, and picked up a couple of yellow cards in quick succession there, Oxford. First Volks and now Hellick, and they were put in trouble by their goalkeeper there.
Yeah, Nonto is absolutely fuming. He's still going at the referee. He wanted the advantage, and to be fair, I get it. Yes, it's a central free kick. It's just right on the edge of being a workable for a shot. Whereas I think Nonto finds himself on the edge of the box, players up, and he's thinking that's a better position, which I tend to agree with.
It's around about 30 yards from goal, maybe a smidge under that, just dead centre really, maybe a tiny bit to the right. Ilya Gruev has placed it with a fair bit of confidence for a guy who hasn't scored this season in the league. His only goal for Leeds in the Championship semi-final last term against Norwich. But he does seem to be the only show in town here on the left foot. It's a rather ragged wall. Referee just checking it's the requisite distance, and Ilya Gruev has lined this up. Tanaka's there as well, but it does seem like Gruev has pulled rank here. Here he comes, and it's curling, and it's straight into the gloves of Jamie Cumming, who just took a couple of steps to his right and was able to patch the ball, and Gruev now is going to go into the book for a sliding challenge on Matos. Nowhere near the ball. Knew exactly what he was doing there, stopping the counter-attack, booking.
Yeah, and I think probably a little bit frustrated with himself as well. And from the free kick, 28 yards out, it was always, I think you're always fighting a losing battle rather there. Doesn't come anywhere close to beating the goalkeeper.
It's going to be a free kick for Oxford then. 5 yards inside their own half on the near side, the Oxford right. Volks takes it like a golf shot, just chipped towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area, but Leeds deal with it well. It comes to Bennett now, the number 12 for Oxford, the left back, and he just guns it down the inside left channel. That's going to go all the way out for a goal kick. You're listening to Oxford United against Leeds United on EFL Game Day Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get reward points. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. Darlow hits it long down the right-hand side for Leeds towards Nonso, who, with the best will in the world, is not going to win that many headers.
No, he's not. But what I do like is the fact that he still jumps for it. He still tries to be combative, and he gets his rewards for it.
Do see fairly diminutive players who've got a bit of a spring who win headers now and again. It's a lovely drop of the shoulder by Tanaka, and then he swings it out to the left. Leeds have really shown their quality at times in this game, but they've only got one goal scored by this man, Manor Solomon, onto his right foot, left corner of the area, curling cross, brilliant diving header away. That was fantastic defending on the cover by Joe Bennett, the left back. Now it comes out to Firpo, who goes for goal. 25 yards out, inside left channel, left-footed, and it flew over the crossbar, but a worthy effort.
Yeah, it was. It was travelling. Unfortunately for him, it was travelling over the bar, and I think it was worrying Jamie Cumming for a minute, but then you see at the last moment, you can see he's got his spatial awareness right. He knows where he is, just pulls his arm away at the last second, but as well, thought that ball in from Solomon was excellent. There's Willie Nonto, the back post area. He was waiting for the tap-in. Bags of pace on the ball, whipped in swinger, causing a problem, but defended really well by Oxford United yet again.
65th minute on Talksport, EFL Game Day Live. Oxford 0, Leeds United 1. A Leeds win takes them top of the Championship tonight, above Burnley, who won at Watford earlier today, and perhaps even more importantly, 5 points clear of third place Sheffield United, who beat Cardiff earlier today. Double change here for Oxford. And Harris is going to make way, the striker for Ola Romani, the Indonesian international. They've made a couple of changes there. They've brought on Greg Lee as well. And he's gone out to that left-back role in place of Bennett. So a double change there. Courtney, what do you make of that?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised when you're looking at timings now. Definitely needed freshening up a little bit. Felt like Leeds United were starting to take control of the game. So Gary Howe, he's the one that's active first. And yeah, you'd expect that, especially when Leeds United are looking comfortable. And I think I mentioned it earlier. I don't see Dan James, for example, playing a part in the game today if they really need him.
Here come Leeds with Nonto. It's a high ball out to the left, and Manor Solomon, left edge of the penalty area, lays it off. He's looking for Nonto. Nonto, edge of the D, right foot shot, and it whistles beyond the post with Cumming flat-footed. It went beyond Cummings' right-hand post. It went back across the goalkeeper, and a worthy effort from Willie Nonto.
Yeah, it really was, and it comes through a lot of bodies. And initially, Cumming, he doesn't really move, and I thought he's got his space right here. He knows exactly this is flying past the post. maybe he did to a degree, but I also think it's the fact that his line of vision was blocked, and he would have seen that extremely late. So I think if that was on target, it probably would have been in the back of the net.
He'd like you to believe he had it covered the whole way through, I'm sure, but
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's played well tonight.
Giving goalkeepers the benefit of the doubt?
No.
An attacking player? What is going on, honestly? Bit of space here, midway inside the Oxford half. Ben Nelson. Can Oxford find a way of upsetting one of the big boys again, just as they did here early in the season when they beat Sheffield United? It's that performance that really made Gary Rowett believe they could cause a problem tonight. He's praised his team for the way they've shown grit and determination. They're nearly where they want to be in terms of staying up. 5 points above the bottom three right now. A win tonight would be an enormous result. Even a point, to be honest, would set them up really well ahead of that trip to fellow strugglers Cardiff on Easter Monday. Lots of EFL action coming your way on Monday. We'll cover it for you on the Talksport network, the home of the EFL. Long throw by Oxford down the left-hand side, but very calmly done by Rodon. He just let it run, and the ball bounces out for a goal kick. Rodon and Ampadu, both Welsh international defenders, haven't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, and that relationship, I think you can tell that it's just almost telepathic at times, and that's what you want if you're a Leeds United player.
Darlow's made a real mess of that. He was challenged by Matos and the ball ran out, and Oxford won a corner there, but it's actually going to be a goal kick. But he dwelt on that far too long, the goalkeeper, and Matos, who's been terrier-like all night, closed him down, put the sliding challenge in. That ball could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, it did, and it's a shame that he didn't get something out of it for his troubles, because, as you say, his work rate has been top-notch all day. But, yeah, I mean, put the commentators casting it a little bit, but it's all about that spine of the team, the two centre-halves, the goalkeeper. When you've got that stability and then you've got the two holding midfielders, it makes everyone else feel better. But I say they're having a wobble at the minute, but Oxford United, they've got a little bit of impetus and joy and confidence out of the fact that they've gone and pressed the goalkeeper there and got something out of it.
Well, here comes the long throw again, down the left from Will Volks. He's been happy to just hurl it into the penalty area so often this season. Here it comes. It's wound up towards the edge of the 6-yard box again. They deal with it well, though, Leeds. They've stood up to that pressure pretty well tonight. Here's Brannigan for Oxford, though. Just shifts the ball back into his own centre circle for Sam Long. Now Brannigan with a different angle of attack down the inside right channel. And he'll just float that to the far post. It was a really good ball, half away, and then Nonto able to clear it. It's going to come to Long. Oxford with a bombardment here towards Hellick, who stayed up, and he headed it across the face of goal, but Leeds deal with it, and the flag is up, and that's going to be a free kick for Leeds United.
It was just a moment as well. Obviously the flag had gone up, so it wasn't to matter, but I thought if they got the flick on there, Pojeta down that right hand side, no one had picked him up. Firpo too bothered about the ball, but as you say, a bit of a bombardment from Oxford United, and it all stems from Matos, the way that he go and presses the Leeds United goalkeeper Darlow. You're just seeing it's lifted them a little bit, given them some confidence.
Here is Ampadu across to Rodon. And slid down the left-hand side for Solomon. Tanaka over halfway. Leeds again, being patient. Rodon now works it down the right-hand side for Bogle. Bogle on the outside now. Trying to get to the corner flag, trying to get the ball in. He's been tracked really well by Goodrum. And Goodrum pokes it out for a corner. But we've not really seen Tyler Goodrum in an attacking position because Bogle has been pinning him back.
Yeah, but all credit to Goodrum. I know that obviously Bogle gets the assist, but aside from that, he is normally such a focal point of what Leeds United do, Jayden Bogle, and he's been kept very, very quiet tonight, and that's all credit to Goodrum.
Plenty of targets to aim for here. Swinging ball towards the 6-yard box, headed up but not really away. Coming fisted out of the penalty area, hooked back in by Aronson. Drops into the penalty area, headed away, but not very far. Tanaka brings it down just inside the box, and the flag is up. And Leeds United are denied there. And it remains 1-0. Don't miss game day breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. Natalie Sawyer alongside the former Wales striker Dean Saunders. They'll be joined by the ex-England internationals Dean Ashton and Leanne Sanderson, reacting to all of the big stories from the world of sport. And of course, this big day today in the EFL, and they'll also look ahead to a massive weekend of Premier League action. That's game day breakfast from 6 a.m. on Talksport tomorrow. Turned by Matos into trouble there as Gruev was able to just poke it away from him. This one's still in the balance. 72 minutes gone. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Forward now by Ampadu. Just takes his time, finds Rodon. Leeds deciding whether to stick or twist here because they have the lead, they have the clean sheet they want, they have the win they want at the moment, but they've got to see it through. Do they push for this second goal? Here's Junior Firpo down the left.
They're twisting. I can see just to the right. Patrick Bamford stripped off ready. So he's going to make a change, Farker.
Solomon to Nonso. Nice little 1-2. Willie Nonso, edge of the D. Lays it off to Tanaka. Tanaka to Piru. Piru inside right channel, 20 yards out. Thinks about the shot. Plays it across instead to Gruev. Curling cross. It was just over the head of Nonso was coming in. And then Greg Lee's clearance charged down, but it broke Oxford's way. 73 minutes gone on EFL Game Day Live. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Long now, charging forward down the right-hand side. He rolls it forward to Poeta, who's been far quieter in this second half than he was in the first half. Not really seeing the same speed from him, the same flair from him. It's not been a case of not working hard, he's just not been able to force himself onto the game.
I don't think he's had the same level of service either, and that's always difficult when you're a forward player. To a degree, you're reliant on those behind you. But interested to see who's going to come off for Bamford. You automatically think Piru, but last time out at Ellen Road, they actually played up top together, and actually, I think I could see Dan James standing next to him. So that's a real sign of intent from Daniel Farker.
Played forward by Junior Firpo towards Piru, left corner of the penalty area, lays it off now to Aronson, onto his right foot, plays it infield to Nonso. I thought Aronson might have been tempted by the shot there, but he chose to keep possession instead. Here's Bogle on the outside of Lee. Lee sticking to him like glue here, so he lays it off. Nice little drop of the shoulder by Solomon, who's on the right-hand side this time, usually down the left. Gruev inside left channel, 10 yards inside the Oxford half. We're ticking towards the final quarter of an hour of normal time here on Talksport. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Leeds edging towards a precious win that would take them top of the championship tonight with just 3 games to go. Got Stoke on Easter Monday at Ellen Road. Ball chipped out onto the chest of Jayden Bogle. Tight to the right touchline. Away from one challenge. There's an Oxford player down. Still they come here. It's cut back. Bogle. Left-footed shot. Charged down. Back to Jayden Bogle. Right foot shot. Hits an Oxford defender and spins away towards the corner flag on the near side, the Leeds left as we look at it. And it's a Leeds United corner.
Could have gone absolutely anywhere, that deflection. Luckily for Oxford United, it's past the post.
And here is the double change that Courtney Sweetman-Kirk talked about, and they are going for it. We're going to see Dan James and Patrick Bamford come on, and Joel Piru has not been able to score tonight. He's had some nice touches. He's been a ever-willing option in attack, but it'll be Patrick Bamford, who is yet to score remarkably in the league this season. He will come on. And the other change is Willie Nonso making way for Dan James, who was a doubt for the game with injury. It was a late decision to put him into the squad, but the man who has 12 goals in the league this season and 9 assists is on for the closing stages. So Bamford and Dan James on. First thing they'll do is try and attack this corner from the near side the Leeds left, Manor Solomon, ready to take it. Got a couple of players free on the edge of the penalty area here. It's all very congested around the 6-yard box.
Goodrum that was down and just getting to his feet now. Looking at the referee, making that elbow sign as if to say I've been elbowed. So he's certainly not happy.
I wonder if... Well, there was that previous incident, wasn't there, where Bogle broke away down the right-hand side and he went down, but Leeds waiting patiently to take this set piece. And we are still waiting to see what the delay really is. There seems to be some kind of motion towards the bench. It's difficult to see from here. Just to remind you, Leeds United need the win to go back to the top of the Championship tonight. That would take them ahead of Burnley on goal difference, and it would move them 5 points ahead of Sheffield United, who are currently third. They're in the first playoff spot. Remember, only the top two go up. There seems to be some commotion amongst the Oxford fans, maybe in the stand away to our right. It's difficult to see from here. Do seem to be stewards moving into that stand, and that's why we've had a bit of a delay, some commotion at the top of the stands. But as I say, difficult to prejudge what's gone on over there. And we will eventually get this corner for Leeds United, and here it comes. Solomon towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's half cleared by Oxford. It'll be collected by Dan James. His first involvement, tight to the right touchline. He'll take on Matos, and then a loose touch by Dan James of all people. Bit of rustiness maybe, and the ball rolls out for a goal kick.
Yeah, and that actually may be one of the reasons why Dan James is coming on with about 15 minutes left. It's hard when you're injured to then come back into the game straight away and start for 90 minutes. You need to try and find your legs. So maybe that's why he's getting 15 minutes now, just to get that movement back in his legs again, ready for Monday.
Leeds just mopping up at the back here. Rodon trying to let it run for the goal kick. Earlier today we brought you Luton's 1-0 win at Derby, Coventry's 2-0 win against West Brom, Sheffield United's victory over Cardiff. Big games that affect the top and bottom of the Championship on the home of the EFL, the Talksport network. And still plenty of movement at the top of that stand away to our right-hand side. Oxford are going to make a couple more changes here, and they are going to bring on a striker, Tom Bradshaw. He'll come on for Alex Matos, who's run the legs off himself tonight. And the other player coming off is Quaheta, and he'll make way for the man he replaced in the lineup tonight, Stan Mills. Stan Mills, only 21, scored in the last home game against Queen's Park Rangers, signed after a successful loan spell from Everton. And Tom Bradshaw, who only joined the club in January from Millwall, comes on, and one assumes he'll go into an attacking position alongside Romani, although he has come to this right-hand side initially. And still, fairly lengthy delay, and there are people who've kind of spilled out of the walkway at the top of that stand.
You don't want to make assumptions because you don't know, but there's then Oxford United players, and I think it was Ampadu speaking to the fans that had almost called them over, potentially trying to tell them the situation and what's going on. So as you say, you never, when you don't know what's going on, the situation, you don't want to try and guesstimate, but it's not great by whatever the look of it, whatever's happening.
Yeah, all we can say is that some supporters have kind of moved out of their places towards the back of the stand, the top of the stand, and there's a gathering of stewards just at the top there. So the game is about to get back underway, and one hopes that everything is as it should be. Ball is lofted long here by Darlow, so fairly long stoppage again. Patrick Bamford won the header, but just hurt his hip there in that aerial challenge. And you do worry a bit for Patrick Bamford sometimes, because he's been plagued by injury, and every time he feels an ache or a niggle, you do just worry. It's been so unfortunate. Quality player who's been brought low by his own body betraying him at times. It's always a bit of a heartbreaker, that. Don't want that to happen to any player. Here come Oxford down the right-hand side. They were looking to find Goodrum, who just has not been able to really affect the game going forward for Oxford, because Leeds have penned him back. Had nearly 82 minutes here on Talksport. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Leeds looking for the win that will take them top. Bamford just tangling with Hellick there. It bounced over both of their heads, and it's going to be a free kick to Oxford, which they take quickly. They've got to get on with it. They would quite happily take a point here. That would take them 6 clear of the bottom 3, with only 3 match days left, and they'd be fairly comfortable.
Yeah, they would, although you're looking at the clock, just over 7 minutes, but there'll be a lengthy amount added on to that as well. So certainly still time. It's, as I mentioned, that 1-0 scoreline, it's never comfortable. Yes, Leeds have looked the most dominant, but there could still be a twist in this.
They've got themselves a throw. Oxford's midway inside the Leeds half, on the far side, the left. It's again pinged in towards the near post, but Leeds deal with it. It's played back in right-footed. Again, Leeds clear. Brannigan, midway inside the Leeds half, dead centre. Spins out of trouble away from Aronson and sends the ball out to the left-hand side. They've got players queuing up in the centre, but it was rather overrun. Oxford have just about managed to keep it. It's with Brannigan again to the right of the centre circle. Again floats it into the Leeds box. Again it's headed away by Rodon. Comes to the left corner of the area, and Oxford have coughed up possession, and this is where they're in danger. Leeds trying to break. Rodon didn't necessarily expect to have a run down the right wing, but that's what he did, and he wins the free kick.
Yeah, you wouldn't have bet on that when him and Dan James break. Dan James has got the ball at his feet, but it's Rodon, the one that ends up running down the right-hand side, but does really well. It's clever, striding, wins the free kick. It's an excellent piece of play.
It's going to be a free kick then to Leeds, 10 yards inside the Oxford half. They will take their time over everything at the moment. Yes, they would love that second goal, but there's no need for unnecessary risks here. This is the club looking to make sure they don't repeat the mistakes of last season, where they only won 2 of the last 8 games in the regular season. They dropped into the playoffs and they were not successful, beaten by Southampton in the final at Wembley. A heartbreaking result for them. They want to see it through this time, and a win tonight would take them top. Here's Junior Firpo in the centre circle for Daniel Farke's men. Out to the right-hand side for the ever-willing Bogle. What a season he's had. Jayden Bogle, having signed from Sheffield United, and he could be part of an effort to keep United in the playoffs. Here is Rodon down the right-hand side. But given away, and then Oxford just can't make it stick at the moment. That's been the difficulty all game, really. They didn't expect to have much possession tonight, and so it has proved. And here is Manor Solomon, skipping down that left-hand side. He's a defender's nightmare, Solomon. He always does seem to know when it's the right moment to go at his defender and when it's the right time to turn out.
Yeah, he does, and because he's comfortable on both feet as well. Normally, you know, as a defender you think, right, I'm going to try and show them on the weak foot, but with him it's difficult to do that because he'll take you both ways.
His goal in the 33rd minute, still the difference, and Leeds with a rather aimless ball down the inside right channel, which Greg Lee can let run, and the goalkeeper can let run.
Just caught out the corner of my eye to our left. There's 3 Leeds fans on top of a fan with an England flag with a Leeds badge in the middle. It's just quite funny, really.
Well, of course, it's the unusual thing about this stadium,
yeah, 3
isn't
stands.
it? That you've got 3 stands, and at the end of the ground where you haven't got a stand, you've got a load of cars or vans, which they're using as a platform to push the Leeds United cause.
Even better, there's a police officer and a police horse behind them. I'm quite surprised that the police officer's not gone over yet and just say, come on, get off the van.
It is quite a bizarre scene, quite frankly. Maybe somebody will make a painting of it. Celebrate.
I'm just hoping there's not a wayward shot, to be honest, that catches them off guard.
You don't want to knock them off the van and then the ball spins into the horse and then you've got chaos happening. Leeds are making a change here. And they're going to bring on Isaac Schmidt. His 11th substitute appearance. He's a versatile player, Schmidt. He's just come out to this left-hand side. Now it's played forward towards Aronson. Skipping away from challenges. He was trying to find Bamford. It's come for Firpo, though. Bursting into the area, and he just tried to cut it back for Aronson. Brannigan was there, but he's giving it away. Tanaka, right foot shot off the post. Cumming was beaten, but the ball came off the base of the far post and spun away to safety.
What a strike that is. Just so well on the run. Strikes through it. True. It's hard and low. The goalkeeper, Jamie Cummings, beaten. Comes off the inside of the post, almost back across the goal. Not a Leeds United player inside to try and tap it in.
Incidentally, Schmidt came on for Manor Solomon. Another option on that left-hand side. Here's Dan James, getting a few minutes ahead of that big game on Monday against Stoke. Let's not forget, if Leeds win here and beat Stoke on Monday and other results go their way, they could be a Premier League team by the end of Monday. And they have won a free kick midway inside the Oxford half, much to the dismay of the Oxford fans and some of the Oxford players.
Substitution for Oxford United, you appreciate for 19, Tyler Goodrum.
Tyler Goodrum's being withdrawn by Oxford's. And it'll be Idris El Mizouni who comes on, the Tunisian international. As Gary Rowett looks to roll the dice and try and turn things around. Oxford have battled bravely. They haven't created enough over the course of the game so far. That's why they still trail by a goal to nil. It's a much wider free kick than the last one Gruev hit, but he's there again. And it's around about 30 yards out, and he's actually taken the low road. He's knocked it out to Bogle. Tight to the right touchline. 90th minute here on Talksport EFL Game Day Live. And it is Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Can Leeds see this through and go top of the championship tonight? Schmidt runs out of real estate against Sam Long, who's given absolutely everything at right back, as all of these Oxford players have, and that's not to be patronising. They have worked incredibly hard, but you're talking about a team with enormous resource in Leeds United against a team that don't have anywhere near that kind of purchasing power. It is a very different scenario. A foul there on Patrick Bamford on halfway. Gary Rowett right on the edge of his technical area, gesticulating about that challenge, but it is going to be a free kick in any case. It was El Mizouni with the challenge. Ampadu on halfway.
Not happy about something, Gary Rowett. It's interesting as well.
7 minutes of stoppage time. Now, there were a couple of big delays because of whatever happened in the stands away to our right. And so Leeds with a lot more work to do. And it's another foul. El Mizouni too desperate to win the ball, and this is what Leeds need to do, Courtney. They need to keep possession in the Oxford half, win these free kicks, take time off the clock.
Yeah, and there's no shame in that, because they're playing for one of the biggest prizes in world football to try and get into the Premier League. But look, they've been comfortable for 90 minutes of the game, there's no doubt about that. But 7 minutes, that could change in a second. So you're right, they've got to be pragmatic, they've got to keep the ball and not do anything silly that could let Oxford United back into this game.
Talks a lot about them going top of the table, but I think just as important, if not more important, is that they would be 5 clear of third place with just 3 match days remaining. Ball runs loose for Junior Firpo down the left here to Schmidt with his back to goal, lays it off. Junior Firpo, left edge of the area, tried to cut it back. Really good defending by Ben Nelson. Been really impressed with him tonight. And then a long ball towards Bradshaw, the number 50. Spins, plays it into the penalty area, and it's excellent play on the edge of the area by Rodon, who had to get there ahead of Helik. Helik charging forward there, the centre-back, but is acting as a makeshift centre-forwards.
That's exactly what I said, though. It only takes a few seconds, and next thing you know, you're under pressure. Nothing more from Oxford United than a long ball forward that they profit well from initially, but Rodon, as he has been all night, spectacular. One with his initial positioning, and then to make the challenge, puts his body on the line.
I have to say, Leeds have defended sensationally tonight. Carl Darlow's been solid when required. Talk a lot about Leeds' attacking instincts and all of the quality they have, all of the goals they've scored, but defensively they're very strong as well.
I think they probably don't get enough credit for that because of the amount of goals they've scored, and obviously because Burnley have been obscenely
unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. So obscenely stingy with the amount of goals that they've given away. So I think it maybe goes under the radar a little bit with Leeds.
Helik with the lay-off. Mills approaching the edge of the penalty area, trying to get some space to shoot. Did go for the shot, but that was charged down, and now Leeds trying to bring it away, but they can't. Oxford come again. 3rd minute of 7. Added on. Lee. Curling cross to the far post. Helik's header. Where's it going to drop? It's headed back across goal and on to the roof of the net. And Leeds survive. Helik's initial header then headed back towards goal, and it just floated gently onto the roof of the net.
And it's a shame for him because he's in the right place at the right time, Helik. I'm not sure if there's maybe a little bit of indecision in him, whether to obviously try and nod it back across or go for goal, or whether it's just the fact that he was a little bit off balance. He's being put under pressure by the Leeds defence, and that's why he can't quite get the purchase. But either way, it's a warning sign for Leeds United.
Carl Darlow will just check the socks are adjusted. Very important, of course, at this time of the match.
Especially 94 minutes. It's always the most frequent time to check.
If you're defending a lead, it's always legitimate to check the socks, and he does, and he boots it long. In this floodlit stadium, late on Good Friday night. It could be a very good Friday for Leeds United and their supporters. Isaac Schmidt out to the left, plays it back into his own half of Firpo, who's under pressure from Bradshaw. Oxford still working, still fighting, still trying to make something happen, and they force Leeds to just bang that aimlessly into the seats on the far side. Tonight's attendance, 11,537. Oxford have been so strong here. Oxford giving their player of the match to Cameron Brannigan, who's been hard-working in midfield. And Oxford ready to take this throw just inside their own half. If they lose, they're 5 points above the Championship's relegation zone. Still in a decent position. Leeds are making another change here. And they have decided to bring on a bit of strength in midfield. Josue Guilavogui, veteran player, played a lot of his football in Germany, has come on. Ball runs loose on the edge of the Oxford penalty area, gathered up by Cumming. Dan James couldn't get there. It's Aronson, who's been replaced by Guilavogui, who is primarily a defensive midfielder. Oxford have it. Left edge of the Leeds penalty area. There's a bit of tugging and shoving. Guilavogui involved. Oxford have had a player go down there shouting for a penalty. Their fans are shouting for a penalty, but it was all quite half-hearted, truth be told. And Bamford, as he tries to skip down the right, he goes down in a heap. And does he win the free kick? It looks as though he has, maybe. Referee on the scene. Just got there ahead of his man. And it is going to be a free kick to Leeds, and we're well into the 6th of 7 additional minutes as we see a few Oxford fans start to head towards the exits.
Really surprised, because that's El Mazouni again, and that's probably the 3rd challenge he's made. And also, he was right in the face of the assistant there because he was so upset with the decision, and I'm not quite sure how he's escaped a caution so far.
All he's done is just his foul since he came on. At least he's been energetic, I guess. Leeds have lost possession here. It's gone out for the goal kick, and time is against Oxford United here. Can they cause a sensation? Not only in the relegation battle, but in the race for the championship title. Forced forward by Vogs, the long ball, volleyed away by Guilavogui. But a bit of a panicky clearance, that truth be told. Lee has it wide on the left for Oxford. High hanging ball. Mills coming in. Right edge of the penalty area. Had to let it bounce. Back to Long. Can Long get the angle for the cross? Oxford pushing here. Vogs with the ball into the penalty area. Headed away by Leeds, and another strong header by Rodon, who's been absolutely Herculean at the heart of that Leeds rear guards. Final seconds here. Vogs again pumps it long. Again Leeds clear. Bogle up against Lee. Lee collects it though. Again, Oxford pump it into the area, and the header is wide by Mills. He was always struggling to catch up with it, and that might just be that for Leeds United.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the moment. Schmidt as well in there does just enough just to make sure he's in and around. He knows he's not going to win it, but it's just to put that little bit of pressure on to make life more difficult for Oxford United. And I think that again we'll see Leeds United topping the championship table.
All eyes on the referee. Final moments at the Kassam. Leeds United moments from going top of the championship with just 3 matches remaining. If things go their way on Easter Monday, they could be promoted. That's what this means. Darlow hits it long. Up towards Bamford. Wins the header, but straight out for a throw. Daniel Farker looks at the referee. Points to his watch. Surely, he says it's full time, but it isn't yet. But it is all over now. And Leeds United take a big step towards winning the championship and going back to the Premier League. Their top flight dream is coming sharply into focus. Ahead of Burnley now on goal difference, and 5 points ahead of third placed Sheffield United with just 3 match days remaining. The only goal of the game came in the 33rd minute. Manor Solomon with it, and that was enough to give Leeds the victory. Oxford remain 5 points clear of the drop zone. They are still in a strong position, but they could not break Leeds down. And Daniel Farker's men, top of the championship tonight. The final score, Oxford United 0, Leeds United 1.
Yep, job done for Daniel Farker's men. And look, pressure was on going into that game. Sheffield United got 3 points. Burnley got 3 points. Leeds United had to respond, and they did. 1-0 winners against Oxford United. And you have to go back to the 34th minute. Solomon scoring that goal. Fantastic play from Joe Rodon. Bogle gets the ball. He crosses it in. Solomon taps it in the near post. Courtney, look, they had their chances. Leeds to make it a bit more comfortable. Tanaka hitting the post from a fantastic shot on the 87th minute. Nonto, right hand shot, just avoiding the right hand side post. But in the end, job done.
Yeah, it's job done. That's the most important thing at this time of the season. It's not the performances. It's not how well you play. It's about getting yourself over the line, which Leeds did. And I think you're right. They had the chances to make it more comfortable. Equally, there's a feeling in me that they didn't really get into 4th, 5th gear. They were quite comfortable with where they were at. Didn't feel that Oxford United were posing too much of a threat. No, personally for me, I never like a 1-0 scoreline. I like to go 2 and 3 and make it more comfortable. But I think they felt very set with where they are, Leeds United, and it's another massive win for them. Going over to the fans now, celebrating them, applauding them. And now I'm sure, obviously, it's a quick turnaround, but they'll be buzzing to be back at Elland Road on Easter Monday. And hopefully, all things go their way. It could be a massive day for them against Stoke and potentially be Premier League team by then.
Yeah, Stoke City, Bristol City, then Plymouth, Argyle next for Daniel Farker's men. Have they done enough? Can you see them in the Premier League next season? Is it done?
I think so. Look, things can happen, but I said it last week against Preston. I don't know what it was. You know how it is, Addy, when you get into a football stadium and you feel certain things that can't be quantified maybe over radio or over TV, but I just felt it was a big win. The way that the team played, the crowd got behind them. It felt like a massive moment after a bit of a poor run for them in the 4 before that, and that's been carried on till today. And as I say, I think that'll carry on Monday against Stoke.
And finally, Oxford stayed 9 teams. Gary Rowett's men tried, right? They huffed and puffed, but ultimately maybe just not enough quality in the final third.
Yeah, and I think, look, I don't want to be in terms of derogatory or feel like I'm playing up to Oxford in the sense that they played really well. But you've got to appreciate, as Kevin mentioned, the gulf between these teams in terms of finances and resources. So for what they haven't and for what they did, I think Oxford should be very pleased with their performance to an extent. Do you want to score more goals and get a point, or maybe even get the win on your best day? Yes, of course they do, but I think they will know, and they will have known before the season, these aren't the games that defined Oxford United, and they won't define them staying in the Championship. It's about winning the ones around, and for me, they've done just about enough to stay in the Championship.
Courtney, fantastic as always. Kevin, great stuff. Look, we've been treated to a brilliant day of Good Friday EFL action here on Talksport. At the end, though, it's Leeds who stay top of the table. They've beaten Oxford here by a goal to nil. Want to have your say on the game and all of today's action. The Sports Bar Weekend, the boys are here. Majestic and Carlton Cole are going to take your calls next. 03717 223344.